By January of '73, I'm working at Vanguard Photography Studios in Hollywood. They were a big PR advertising photographic company and probably employed 6 or 7 of us. And I got a great idea one day. I thought, well, hold it, I got to start that one again. In January of '73, I found myself working for Vanguard Photography. They're located in Hollywood, and they were a big PR advertising photographic studio. One day on the radio, I heard that the Rolling Stones were going to do a one-off concert in two nights from now, and it was a special, going to be getting money and helping out the country of Nicaragua. They had just had a big earthquake. It was a few days later. And at that time, Mick Jagger was married to Bianca, who was from Nicaragua. I'm sure that was a connection. So I called Atlantic Records, but they didn't know who I was at that point in time. And I told them, I'd like to shoot the Stones concert coming up. And they said they couldn't help me, but they'd give me the name of their PR company. So it turned out that it was Gibson and Stromberg. And Bob Gibson I had knew from like 4 or 5 years earlier, but had lost contact with the guys. So I called them and they said, well, I talked to Bob for a few minutes, and then he said, well, you got to talk to Mr. Stromberg. He's the one handling the Stones. So I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, well, James, you're going to have a special reason. This is a special concert, and you have to represent somebody. I have to know that your photographs may be picked up. So I said, well, give me a little time, I'll think it over. So I put the phone down, and within 10 minutes I thought about UPI. Carlos Shebeck was the manager of the Los Angeles UPI office, and back when I was in college I had sold him photographs of things that I had taken, and they bought them. So I told Carlos what was happening, and he said, come on down here in about 2 hours, downtown LA, to my office, and I'll give you an official letter saying that, tomorrow night you're working for United Press International. So I went down, picked that up. A few hours later, I called Gibson and Stromberg again, and they said, wow, you got a letter from UPI. Come on down and we're going to give you your special pass for backstage, etc. So I did that. So the evening of the concert, let's see, Santana played that night, and Cheech and Chong played before the Stones came on. And just before they did come on, Mr. Stromberg said, there was like 6 photographers, I think, altogether, including me. He said, you guys are only going to be able to photograph the first 3 songs, and then I'm going to throw you out. So I had 3 cameras with me. One was a motor drive, and I must have shot 100 photographs almost of the first 3 songs. And he came out, sure enough, and made us go in the backstage, and was telling us all good evening, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he stopped me, and he said, James, you working for UPI tonight? Yes, sir. Well, you shoot the rest of the show. Okay.
All right. Make sure to give a few seconds when you finish each
Right.
time, so it's easier for me to trim.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will